Hi everyone. Happy Monday.
Hey,
I guess we can go ahead
Happy
and
Monday.
I think Evan posted in Slack about some news. I think it was you in
Uh,
chat.
I did post about some news, a possible discussion topic, but then we had a more exciting thing happen over the weekend.
Okay. We
I
then.
don't know if you got a chance to catch up on that, but apparently the Trivia repository had all its releases deleted and was made private,
Oh wow.
uh,
oh,
which is not what the authors wanted to do. But a possibly an AI claw instance is suggested. Executed a supply chain attack which extracted a personal access token from a pull request target GitHub action and pivoted that to be able to further access the repo, do some defacement and direct commits, and then the entire repo got pulled private. And I don't know exactly what happened with the releases, exactly how the releases came down, but yeah.
Wow. Yeah, scary stuff.
Yeah.
uh, yeah, it's really interesting how much the AI agent stuff breaks the people's usual assumption that their developer machine is semi-trusted.
Well, so this was through GitHub.
Yeah, but the access token theft, like was that also through GitHub?
Yeah, it was a
Okay,
access token stored in a secret.
got it. Okay.
it's
But
just
GitHub,
making it easier to do these kinds of attacks at scale.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
just to sift through thousands of repos and say, okay, which ones of these have pull request target? Okay, which ones have some kind of vulnerable path in there? Um, I
Yeah.
think the Trivy one was something where there was a command that anyone could issue that would compare the API surfaces of the released binary and the proposed changes. And so, in the process of collecting the API surface from the PR, they would go and build the attacker's code, and they wanted to be able to attach comments at the end to the pull request. So they ended up with pull request target permissions in order to be able to write a comment, but that gave broader access to things like secrets and so forth.
Hmm.
I don't know how I would design it to be safe. What they've done so far is they've just taken down the action entirely.
Yeah, which I guess is one solution. Hmm.
Yeah, that pull request target is you want to use it, like you really want to use it, but it's so problematic.
Yeah, you really don't want to use it, but sometimes you don't see how not to.
Well, there's a lot of convenient uh, convenient stuff is really nice to be able to uh, drive stuff through comments or auto format or auto do stuff on PRs. But
And be
yeah,
able to have non-owners on the repo be able to do some of that stuff.
right, right.
Because yeah, your goal is that your CI automation is, makes life easy for people who are trying to contribute things and runs it in a safe and secure way.
So wait, so you said GitHub just took down pull request target in response? Is that their
No,
oh the project did.
the project took down the particular workflow that used pull
Okay,
request target.
got it. Hmm. And it's back up and everything. They found all the files.
Uh so the repo got made private. Excitingly, the attacker made a public repo with the same name after moving it to private,
Oh, that's a clever attack. So if you try to pull it, you
and may have published some other naughty stuff. Unclear exactly the extent, at least a VS Code extension, but yeah, a mess.
yeah.
Yikes.
And particularly embarrassing, given that Trivy is supply chain
Yeah,
security.
exactly.
It's not clear how
That
many
was not.
other supply chain security, vendors could have equally well been targeted, but it happened to be Trivy in this case.
I guess that's just evidence about how hard this stuff is to do right.
Yes. Um, well, and that security vendors have a big target on their backs.
Yeah.
Like developer tools folks also have a big target on their backs, but um, if you're like, hey, we do security, we protect you from stuff, we need privileged access to do that. You're like, okay, that makes sense. But then that also means you have privileged access for an attacker to go after you
Mhm.
for.
All right, well, that's on my to-do list this afternoon now to go through, research all the open telemetry repositories that are using pull request target because I know there's
Yeah,
several.
there's at least one AI attacker out there trying to find it. So
So Step Security documented 7 different attacks from this account. 6 of which appeared to have been at least somewhat successful, uh, and all used different techniques.
hmm.
Which is the particularly I don't know what to make of that. You know, it's not like like human finds a path and is like, let me see if I can go apply
Yeah,
this to
just try it a
everything.
bunch of times. And is it like all from the same account or something? Is that how they
Yeah,
know?
Hackerbot Claw.
Okay, yes. Very creative name. But um cool. Anything else on that before we talk about our dependencies?
Yeah, thank you for calling that out, Camila. I had not seen that until this morning, and I was like, ooh, this is bad and spicy.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. I didn't finish reading the article actually, but I saw on Twitter someone that researches CI/CD posting, and I was like, that's interesting.
And it probably could have been worse.
Just check back next week.
Yeah. Okay, so on the recipe card, it looks like there's like uh most of a draft in here. So that's very exciting. From Shireen with a few comments. So I figure we can go through. Have folks had a chance to take a look at this at all?
No.
Okay, because we can take
I
five
read.
minutes now to to go over it, or we can just go over it together.
Yeah, let's take 5 minutes to
Okay, yeah, just make sure we're
for
all caught
people.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just Matt turned off his camera. I found that's a useful way for people to flag that they're done reading is they turn their camera back on.
Okay,
So
cool. We'll do that.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. For some reason, I can't read with the camera on. I don't know why.
It looks like we've got a number of cameras back on at least.
How about unmuting? Does that count?
That could certainly
Yep.
count, yes.
Yeah.
All
Uh,
right.
I'm still working through the actual draft, but don't wait on me. I'm making some comments.
Okay, cool. Yeah, feel free to keep commenting as we go. I figure we can go look at people's comments from the top that folks have had a chance to take a look and then see how far we get. I will share my screen, make it bigger. Is that big enough? I'm trying to make it bigger.
It is for me.
Okay, cool. Aaron has a smaller screen. Let me know. I can make it bigger. Um, cool. So from the top, we have this one.
I think that's a suggestion to maybe get a metaform running through our recipe card.
Yeah, I think at least in this intro section, it might be a nice hook. I don't want to go too far with it and make it confusing, but I think at least in the intro it could be.
Yeah. A lot of times feedback is like, I don't like this, change that. But like that was one where like, oh, I like that. That's cool.
Yeah. Cool. So maybe we can expand on that there.
Uh, I'm wondering if we can just cut that whole paragraph.
Okay.
Sometimes less is more.
Yeah, I think especially with an analogy up in this intro section, hopefully there'll be enough motivation.
Yeah.
So, I'll leave the comment because I think we can pull it into an index or something or appendix, but or if someone wants to do that as I talk, that would be great too.
I can, yeah.
Okay, cool. Where's this comment? Okay.
Oh, did not work the way. There we go.
Do we want to talk about scorecard? Um,
I mean, I think it's a useful potential tool.
mhm.
Maybe this is one of those places where we say these scorecard checks,
Yeah,
will flag
does that
things
come
for
up
you.
under choosing actions, I guess? Or does that come
Yeah,
up under like how to meet the scorecard requirements? I guess I'm confused which angle we're coming at it from.
yeah. I think you're right. I think maybe scorecard is later on.
Or maybe it's even in like the risks related to CI dependencies. We could say like these scorecard things are related.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was
So
actually thinking we could say like if you go down further, unfortunately, um, like pin your dependencies in runner images. You can say like scorecard will flag if you haven't done this.
okay, yeah. So
And same thing with access control. Scorecard can flag if you.
um someone can fix that.
Yeah.
Um and then which is the other one in pin
Access control.
access
They
control.
will flag. Um, I can do the same thing. You got it.
And I think that can help people like check if they've done it basically.
Yeah.
As they're going through, they can like, if they have that enabled, they can see if they've already done this. So, um, okay. I'll just check it off here. We can fix the things that I wrote later. Um,
So this is a discussion topic. Half of these are bulleted lists and half of these are like paragraphs of text. And if you were reading this article, which would you prefer? I don't, you know, I
I'll
don't
make an
always.
argument for bullet lists. It's a weakly held opinion. Because our goal is to kind of give people a to-do list with this, right? And I think that'll make it easy to skim and find stuff in. But I'm willing to be convinced the other way. Unless, of course, something requires, I think, more discussion. I'm not like opposed to paragraphs, but
I'm going to weigh in on the other side. We
okay.
have a bullet list at the top with the TLDR.
Mhm.
And I wonder if this is a place for us to put in a little more flavor.
I can see that too. I mean, you can also mix the two, right? So like if there's like something that's an obvious bullet list, we can.
Yeah, I'm not saying never bullet list,
Yeah.
but I'm saying this section is totally bullet list. And then the next section is totally paragraph.
Yeah. I think something like this format, like mostly paragraph symbol, is probably the right balance here. So we'll want to do something like that here. Cool. I'll leave that for now. I do also think I didn't write this in a comment, but I think in general, it might be nice to do a pass and make sure we're defining or at least linking to definitions of everything we're using. Um,
Yeah, this was mine. Just suggested flipping the flipping the order so it's not like GitHub cheerleading, you know.
yeah. Um, and this could, I think, also be helped by like the paragraph style. So if we just
Yeah.
um oops, that didn't do what I wanted to do. Um Something like that, and then we could and this one I think does all this. Good for one second. Does that look good to everybody?
I think so. I I'm suggesting moving the cooldown down to the dependencies rather than up here. If people like that, then
Okay. Yeah, I think that makes sense then there. So we'll yeah. Okay. Doctors is a good call out.
Yeah, when I think about how I use stars and sometimes even forks, they're like glorified bookmarks. So
Yeah.
yeah, I know that when I've made the case for teams that want to use an action, one of the first things my CIO used to ask me is who else is using this action? You know, and you can't always answer it, but
Yeah. Yeah, not everybody will put their name in there, but it does help. Um
I guess, do we want this to be the first bullet point, or do we want to push this down a little bit in the list?
I would
Like
say that these two things to me, I tend to look at these first just because I
those,
feel like
those feel more important, but they take a little
Yeah,
more
me
effort.
too.
if it only has like 2 stars, I'm always skeptical. But if anything higher than that, it's hard to. um,
Especially
Yeah.
since you can buy stars.
yeah,
Yep. I think updates, yeah, I think we should leave with those as well.
yeah,
It's one of the first things I look at, like, oh, this is a neat action, but nobody touched it in 2 years. So
yeah,
So either it's done or
yeah, it's
yeah.
perfect.
it's perfect and will always be perfect in the future, including, when you need to bump your node version and things like that.
Yeah, when you start looking at the ecosystem of actions, there is a huge amount of actions where like one developer hasn't been touched in a couple of years, does what it
Yeah.
said, but did it a couple of years ago, and then you end up.
Yeah, something changes and okay. I think we got that. I think this is good nuance, but I think the statement kind of holds. Um,
Yeah, I was just thinking maybe we just want to say when actions need additional permissions or something like that.
Yeah, I guess reading my comments back, what had occurred to me is I remember a lot of times looking at the GitHub Actions page and it says it will use this secret, but like it's not clear if someone's new to all of this that you're giving it access to all secrets. Um, in fact, I don't think I've ever seen that in the help page for a GitHub Action. That oh, by the way, but
Well,
it'll always just say configure these secrets, but then it doesn't have anything else to say. Oh, by the way, I also have access to your other secrets too.
but I mean that's true of all GitHub actions. So
Well, no,
it's not
that's what I
like,
mean. But if this is for the uninitiated, I'm just thinking like
yeah.
people might not know that, and that could be a nasty surprise.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
going to take out the or access to secrets part because they don't ask.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think also the populace has been trained by the app model, where it asks for specific fine grained secrets or
Yeah,
Yeah,
permissions.
no, I mean they've
that would
done
be
great work on like Android app stores and stuff, but you don't get any of that at GitHub.
Right. It's all caveat emptor.
Yeah.
so I'll just leave this for now. Okay. Or is that like okay? I'll leave it. I don't know.
Yeah,
Um,
we can take a second pass polishing.
yeah.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, I think Matt's comment there is, a great
Yeah.
comment, and that's a place for us to link out to docs rather than tell people.
Cool. I'll leave the comment and we can maybe
Yeah.
find a nice talk. Yeah, you said that. Great.
This is again a case of I don't want to send people a recipe that becomes a research project.
yeah.
So we should actually,
If there's a good quick start, we'll link that. Otherwise, we should just remove it from this particular. And maybe we can also link here to a to-do list, like a get started guide for one of these.
yeah, I just
You just put that in. Okay,
put that comment in.
Great.
Uh,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, because we don't need to redo that work, but it would be great to link to it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my note. Yeah, so I think as before, we should link to quick start for Dependabot, maybe and renovate.
I mean, if Renovate has directions for it, my suggestion would be to actually put, a small sample in the recipe that says, for Dependabot, all you need is X.
Okay.
And then, this is pulled from the GitHub docs. And then, for Renovate, see over here. Only because Renovate takes a little bit more effort to set up than Dependabot.
Okay. So I'll just note that. Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to not mess things up, but I'm failing.
Doing update. Yeah, that's good. We can make these full sentences later.
Yeah, we need to sentenceify these.
Yeah, and this last one is I guess the hard one, but yeah, I guess maybe we can talk about that. Like what do we want to say about this? We don't have to write it, but should probably have the
I mean, there's two problems here. One is knowing that you've got a problem at all.
Yeah.
And then the other is what do you do about it?
um so
Are
how
we
do
biting
yeah,
off too much?
do we have anything in here about like discovering vulnerabilities in upstream?
No. We definitely don't.
Not that CVE count is a direct indicator of anything, but it's a metric.
I feel like this is getting into the territory of some other kind of scanning
Yeah,
system, like a Trivy or
yeah.
something
Yeah.
that, yeah, I would agree that I think is probably out of scope for this.
Do we just not want to mention it? Because I guess there is still the like, is handling these issues in scope, or if even if scanning for them isn't?
I mean, I think your solution in this case is either go find another action that's equivalent or like write your own or something like that.
Yeah, so I guess
A pile of bash.
I guess those are kind of. There's the first is in scope insofar as you should reread the guide, and then um, okay, yeah, let's keep that up for now. Why to
I want to I want to move some of these bullet points up into text, but I don't know if we want to do it right now or offline. Right now has the advantage that it's a forcing function. Offline
yeah,
has
we
the
can do that. I think we have a
offline.
bit of time now. We can do that. We're near the end. Um, paragraph. I think this can just be a paragraph about
Yeah.
tokens.
Um,
And I think this we can leave as on the list. For now, at least. Um, okay, yeah. these ones I think are quick hits, so I think we can leave them here.
Yeah, this one was more of a newbie thing. Not that we have to cover it here if there's a link to it, but if I recall, it's like the settings in GitHub are just a checkbox, and there's no real context about the implications or how to
Okay, yeah.
manage it.
We should definitely link to something there. So I'll put that as a comment. We can hopefully find something. I worry about going too far in the weeds here, but we should definitely link to something so if people get confused, they can find it.
Yeah, it's sort of I think I remember somebody on my team having a kind of a nasty surprise where they tweaked the setting for the org, right, and then suddenly CI everywhere just like fell over, and
Okay.
it was a big fire drill.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was kind of hilarious too, because it was like the sky is falling, nothing's working, GitHub's broken.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So the org level settings override everything further down. And yeah.
Yeah, it was literally a case of like somebody flipped the switch and then went to a doctor's appointment and nobody knew what happened.
Yeah, and nobody knew what happened. Yes.
Yeah, you don't have to go look at the audit log, which like 4 people had access to, for the org.
Yeah.
Sure. I don't know, they don't break things.
Yeah, we can do a paragraph offline too, just whatever. It just stuck out. I hope these comments aren't too nitpicky.
No, this is great. There's probably more to say there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Depending on what we find in a guide too, that could just into that. Okay.
Yeah, if I recall, the docs from GitHub don't elaborate either. It's kind of like you go look up what does this setting do, and it just tells you like what you know from reading the first place you saw it.
Yeah.
It doesn't really say, and this means ...
Yeah. If there's nothing else, we can write it, but I'm hopeful that we'll find something in the guide.
Yeah.
Out there.
I'm not sure if it fits in this doc, but as I'm sitting here spinning through like the repercussions of the pull request target attacks, there's the option to require approval for first-time contributors on repos.
Yep.
Which there's in the past, I've been a fan of require approval for first-time contributors who are new to GitHub, just because I hate that like hitting that approve button and everybody new who comes in, and it's kind of annoying for each time they push, and then it's annoying for them because they don't get the CI feedback. But this is making me think we should flip all of those to first-time contributors.
You should do that if you are actually going to look at the code before you click authorize. If you're not going to look at the code, the actual diff before you click authorize, there's absolutely no point.
I mean, you can like ensure it's not, you can skim it to make sure it's not Bitcoin mining. That's what I usually do. I don't like read every line before I proceed.
Yeah. But it's real easy to just be like, oh yeah, I need to hit the button to make the thing go. Yeah. And then you've actually just defeated your security measure, but at least it's inconvenient.
Yeah.
So on the previous point about explicitly named actions, as I recall, this was like one of the hardest things, like culturally inside an engineering organization. Like if you're not using Terraform,
yeah,
like or some other way to like have source control over it, it ends up being like, how do we manage
I was
that?
going to
Like, and
say
it's an organizational problem, not a GitHub problem, but it does
we
get in the way.
we shouldn't straight up recommend it. I don't think.
Recommend that you have a plan, or
Uh,
recommend that we,
to recommend setting it to organization only actions.
yeah. I mean, that means that you have to fork the actions into your org basically, and
Well,
then
no, there's
maintain the
actually
forks.
you can do explicitly named actions,
Right.
but it means that you need to, whenever you want to use a new action, you have to find somebody with admin permissions to go and hit that and explain to them why that's reasonable.
Yep.
Which is a solid security stance, but also a pain in the butt and a lot of friction.
Yeah, a lot of the places this will come up to is like a new IT team. This was our. I'm projecting my own experience here, but I think it might be common where, in our case, we were on GitLab and or a gaggle of random repos, in some baby org, and then like we got a GitHub Enterprise contract, and we like migrated to GitHub, and now like the organization is wrangling with all of these knobs and levers. So like the point where this is most needed is where people know the least.
Yeah.
So,
I feel okay to recommend it. Maybe we should add some caveats though. It's
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
people don't have to follow all of our advice, right? They're not going to. That's not the point. Um, but I think we can say this is a good idea, but it might break stuff, so you might want to put it off or
Yeah.
something.
There be dragons.
Yeah.
This is a good idea if you want to review all you want a trusted set of people to review all the external actions before they're imported. So basically,
Yeah.
if you want a small set of people to do the evaluate step.
Yeah. I mean, culturally, that's where the backlash is, right? Because everyone's like, "Ooh, now we have GitHub Enterprise. Now teams can have their own repos."
Yeah.
And so you end up with like a culture problem that it's less of a technical and more of a, you either need to give people like the information and say you're responsible, and that be your org policy, or a small, a choke point on reviews and things. But
Okay.
kind of crazy how the modern cloud and tech stack relies on like norms and people just kind of doing the right thing, hopefully.
Yeah.
As opposed to previously, where it clearly did not.
This is good work we're doing, I think.
Is there like a way to do this? The obfuscate secrets and logs that we can link to?
It's in an enterprise feature. If you have GitHub Enterprise, it's like, or did they make that part of the standard thing now?
It's part of the standard thing if they detect a secret.
Right.
There are various ways to leak it. For example,
Rot 13.
if you know this Rot 13,
Yeah.
or if you know the secret is 20 bytes long, print 10 bytes, a space, and then 10 more bytes. Finding secrets is hard.
I'm Googling Rot 13. Oh,
Oh yeah.
all right.
Like the dumbest.
Yeah. This is like the
Encryption.
sixth grade encrypting
Yeah.
first.
In quotes. The So is there something you can actually do here? Because GitHub, like, does GitHub does this? It's easy for attackers to bypass. Is there anything you as a user can do, really?
I don't think so. Especially if someone else has written the action. Like,
Yeah. So I guess we just delete it because again, if people can't fix the problem, like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I found the link here. I'll put it in. I don't collide.
Do you have to enable this, the redacted secrets thing?
I don't remember. I remember it was like a new feature when we had GitHub Enterprise, but I'm like, it's like 8 years ago,
Yeah.
9 years ago. So there's an automatic.
It says automatic, so I guess.
Well, it says these guys are automatically redacted, but yeah, there's innumerable ways to get around it. But
Well, it redacts the contents of all GitHub secrets.
So basically, this protects you from yourself, but not from an attacker.
Yeah.
Because if you
yeah,
like,
this is like
yeah,
oops, somebody set. Usually, it's like somebody puts set dash x at the top of a bash file or something like that, and things that weren't printed before are,
Yeah.
usually when someone's debugging stuff. At least that's where I saw it.
yeah.
Yeah. So anything that's registered as a secret or anything that matches their pre-existing patterns, they will X out.
Oh, they do have best practices that we can link to right here. The third link. Boom.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we can just link to this.
Okay, great. So I'll leave that here. We can put this link.
I don't know why I'm not putting this in the Google Doc. I should just do that. Yeah.
Okay.
We have that link in the end of the first paragraph.
Oh, we do. Yeah, feel free to remove it one of the two places. I don't know.
I put it in the comment for posterity for future.
Okay, cool. Control over costs. No, that the GitHub ones are cheaper. I guess it depends on if you own your server already, right?
Yeah,
Hey,
I've heard from
folks.
a lot of people that when they do cloud migrations, they have leftover hardware. GitHub Actions are a common
Yeah.
thing because if the actions have to hit intranet sources.
Having been the IT team at StackLock, when we started running our integration testing through Actions, for various reasons, it was holding on to runners for a while. And the cost per minute for runners from Microsoft was, I want to say, about 14x AWS's cost.
Wow.
Now you only pay per minute. And if you're not using them for very long, then that's great. There's a huge bundle of free minutes. But once you cross that threshold, it gets expensive in a hurry. On the other hand, our recipe is about CI dependencies.
Yeah, maybe cost doesn't matter. I mean, it does matter, but not for
the recipe.
For us.
Okay. Shall we remove it then? If it doesn't.
That would be my feeling. It'll give us
that way we don't have to argue it, right? We don't
let's steal some more space for interesting security content.
Yeah,
exactly.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, like Actions Runner Controller is nifty, and we don't care. There's lots of interesting things in the world. That's fine.
Wait, so what? So you're what's the? Do you want to remove this whole thing? What's your argument?
I'm suggesting that we should put in something about if you're using self-hosted runners, you're responsible for updating the base software image used by the runner in addition to the software and the workflows. And that we don't need any of the rest of this. Like self-hosted runners are an interesting topic. So maybe we can, I'm happy to get into them with people, but not on this recipe card.
Okay, so maybe what we can do...
we can remove the whole thing then. Because I did put it in because it was one of the items in the outline, but we can definitely skip the whole thing.
Yeah, maybe we can, or we can just have one sentence that says like, when you're doing self-hosted, you have to do that. And then we can just get rid of the rest. People can learn about it.
Yeah, I think it might make sense though, the second sentence down about like, they're oftentimes used when you're dealing with data residency or compliance issues. That was specifically our use case when we used them. It was, we had a project that had HIPAA and FedRAMP requirements. And so like validating that entry point to why someone would be looking at GitHub runners is probably, I think, worth the sentence. Again, just to build like, I don't want to say trust, but
Yeah, we summarize in one sentence. So
yeah, I had another comment on the last one that may or may not make sense to put in as well as coding your infra and everything that means. But I understand Evan's point about opportunity cost and working memory.
I think that's not the, I mean, that's not the only reason to do it, right? There's also cost savings. There's also some security reasons to do it. Not related to the dependency security, but
Or maybe add a clause to this that if you're using self-hosted runners, you're responsible for updating the base software image used by the runner and understanding the implications of running in your own environments. Like, don't
yeah,
just plop
I
this on
guess,
your
yeah,
internal network.
like you will also need to ensure a secure environment or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I bet you that GitHub has another page. Let me see if I can find it on actions runners.
Yeah, I bet we can link to something here.
Secure use of runners, self-hosted runners. So here's what they have there. Put it in the I'll just drop the link there and put it wherever you like. But that's what GitHub has on this topic. And it looks like running precedence
This link,
autoscaling.
actually, this link seems useful too. Just as like if people want to learn more, they can read out there. And then yeah, I think we can save the whole discussion of whether you should use them or not for some other
Yeah.
other discussion. Okay. Anything else here we should want to make sure we pull in?
Compliance one, did we put that in already? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Um,
Actually, I have no idea what third-party actions and compliance implications are. Like, I don't know.
Like I will tell you an example. I'm not sure if the PCI DSS did make a change in the past couple of years, but at some point, let's say 5 years ago, PCI DSS said we need access to your data center, like physical access to your data center, in order to certify your solution PCI DSS. And then if you're like running AWS or whatever, it wouldn't even fly. So you were finished, right? So that was the type of requirement from compliance that would get you interested in self-hosted.
Yeah.
But I don't have enough new info about any of the compliance stuff to say, okay, we were still there, or did the compliance or did the various certification change their minds about clouds?
Did they figure out how to handle this case?
Yeah.
Well,
right.
I think what I don't know if this is PCI DSS or if I'm remembering a different one, but I know that there's also the Sarbanes-Oxley threshold. So like when you're a startup and you're under whatever the cap is for market cap, some of the reporting stuff that is around revenue in particular, like PCI DSS, you're exempt from, but then you kind of have like big technical debt. Like as soon as you cross the Sarbanes-Oxley threshold, now you have all quarterly audits and all of that, and there it might be like a you don't need it now, but as soon as you're successful, you run into this wall, and then you have to rip out stuff. And
yeah, PCI DSS is if you want to process a credit card at all.
Yeah,
like even one.
But
yeah, Sarbanes-Oxley has thresholds.
Like
CRA also
when you're under that threshold. Yeah.
So I guess I worry that if we start talking about compliance here, we're gonna go into a whole rabbit hole. I think people who need compliance know about it, and they can figure that out. And then
I think
this
with our
will just like
exploratory
guide them
conversation,
for
we've
this
just
in
run into that
particular.
ourselves.
And then if we have test readers and they're confused, we can add another couple of sentences, but I think it's mostly fine for now. So I'm just gonna cut this for now, just for the sake of focus. Oops. Okay.
Yes.
And then, yeah. Cool. This is great. So, this is looking really good. So, I guess as I know we're technically at time, so as folks have time this week, maybe we can go through, do a bit of cleanup. Like I think Matt really liked this analogy, so maybe we can expand that a little bit and just stuff like that offline. And
I
then,
have pictures.
oh yeah,
I asked AI to create pictures to illustrate this, but I said,
that'd be
okay,
good.
we have to respect the 3-page first
Yes.
before adding images.
Yeah. The other analogy that might also be useful instead or in addition, it was one from Emily Fox. It was something around like, we have all these Legos and they're awesome, but when you step on them in the dark,
Yeah.
it hurts. Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of like the kitchen
Yeah.
one because I've been cooking a lot.
Anybody has the ref from the bear? It was a Netflix probably series about a Chicago
Oh yeah.
chef who took over like a really messy like sandwich type of thing and turned it into a real fancy restaurant. But you've got like the first part of the series where everything is happening in total chaos, and like we could use some. I don't know if we can use any pictures from
Yeah.
that. Technically, we can't.
We
Yeah, we can
still
look
from
at
Ratatouille would also be probably get Disney after us.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's such a when, not if.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, folks, for arriving very, very late. I don't know if there is a cleanup that I can take over with all of the nice feedback that you got in the comments there.
Yeah, I mean, I think anyone who wants to go through, do another pass. Thank you, by the way, for writing up the first draft. This was great.
Yes, it was super helpful.
Yeah.
Okay, nice, cool.
Yeah, and then hopefully, yeah, maybe in the next week or so we can get it kind of just like, finalized, cleaned up and in a state, and then maybe next week or the week after we can start sharing it out outside this group. So very exciting. Although maybe we should wait till after KubeCon, but we'll see what the timing is. um, so we get people's attention. But great. I think we are over time, so I'll let folks go. But thank you all.
Thank you.
Have a great week.
You too.
You too.